How's it going, guys? Today we've got another awesome Power Rangers Legacy review, and today it is, of course, the amazing, the awesome DRAGONZORD. This is the original green version. There is, of course, the newer special black and gold edition, which we will be reviewing. But as with seemingly all of these Green Ranger items that I've got, this is on loan to me from a good friend of mine. I was going to buy it from him. Things sadly did not work out that way, but I am, of course, allowed to review it because he knows how much I love this thing. Now, I've wanted the Dragonzord, period, since I was like 10 or whatever, whenever this came out. Or at least 10, 12, that range. This thing is so cool and way better than the old version we had when I was a kid. At least in detail and everything. And the fact that it even says it up there, it says metallic paint, die-cast metal, all kinds of good stuff. Now, this is pushing the limits of how far away I can be. Like, I can maybe go about another inch. There we go. So we'll look at this box from a distance at the moment. Of course, you get a great shot of the Dragonzord toy here. They do their best to really mimic the original box art, and I love that. If I could pull up an image of the original box art and post it like right here, you can see how it looks like that. I don't know if you get a great shot of the toy there. Of course, 11 inches tall articulated tail, or maybe that means an 11-inch articulated tail. That's kind of hard to tell. You get, of course, warnings. Great Mighty Morphin logo here. You can barely read it, but it's got the foil legacy writing right there. Come to the top, just a repeat of that. The side is, well, a great big read up. You get all the languages. Yay for languages. You get some Dragonzord stats down here. Let's see here. Hold on. I want to pull that up because I want to know. Alright, it is 124 feet tall. That's pretty high. 203 feet long. Great. 340,000 pounds. That's quite a lot, actually. What is that? 17 tons? 170 tons? Yeah, that's heavy. Speed, 86 miles per hour. That's pretty cool. Actually, this is a shot. This isn't even a toy. This is the guy in the suit. That's pretty awesome, actually. Power laser drill. That's not laser. It's made of metal. Alright, let's back this up here. Let's see if I can see the read up here. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers possess the ultimate battle system. When Rita Repulsa and her evil space aliens threaten to overwhelm the Power Rangers, they summon Megazord, mighty fighting machine with incredible power sword and mammoth shield. The more powerful the Dragonzord joins to battle with a missile launching armor. These two powerful machines morph together to become the Mega Dragonzord. But when all else fails, Titanus, the carrier Zord, enters the scene. Then all three power swords morph into the awesomely powerful Ultrazord. Ultimate battle machine, nothing can stand up to the Ultrazord. This isn't the Ultrazord, this is the Dragonzord, guys. Why give us all that information? It's not needed. Okay, and on this side, it's just the Power Ranger story. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, and then on the back, you do get Dragonzord, Legacy, Megazord. I don't own this. Though I do have another friend who is going to sell me the black and gold version, so it will go with my black and gold Dragonzord. I can't wait for that, to be perfectly honest. And you get metallic paint, die-cast parts, repeat of the image. Megazord, it can do these things if you have Dragonzord. So you got the Dragonzord battle mode, or whatever they called it, and then the Mega Dragonzord, or the Dragon Megazord, whatever you call it. They gave it all kinds of different names. Articulated tail. Yay. Alright, so that's it for the box. And by the way, this is heavy. It's actually, normally when I do a review, I don't have the thing in the box. This thing is hefty. It's all that die-cast, guys. Or he needs to go on a diet. Either way, let's go ahead and get him out of the box and see what's up.
We are about to feel the strength of Dragonzord power!
Right, guys, here we have the really awesome Legacy Dragonzord out of the box and looking just perfect. When you think Dragonzord back in the days, this is just dead on, guys. This thing is just beautiful with all the die-cast parts, the perfect paint, the great Bandai silver instead of the old crappy gray that we got. This thing is basically the quintessential Dragonzord, and it is Beautiful. Now, when you do get it out of the box originally, it has no hands and the tail is removed. You got to pull the hands out of a little baggie, and it does require a little bit of assembly, but that's just kind of par for the course with this. So the hands are removable. They are also slightly posable, like so. And then, of course, you can, tilt it like that. This guy isn't like supremely articulated, but it has some articulation. We'll go over that a little bit in a minute. It does come with a couple extra accessories. You get these hands, which are the shooting hands and also the retracted hands. So back in the day, this was your only option, realistically. These were the hands that were on the DRAGONZORD as it was. And actually, that wasn't a bad deal. But I like that they include these hands, which are more like the actor in the suit hands. So you could actually kind of move them and stuff. You couldn't really grab anything, I wouldn't think. Though, I wouldn't mind, even if you had to pay a bit of a premium, if somebody came up with these, but they were articulated. Like maybe little ball joints. So you could get this look, but with one set of hands. Somebody work on that. If you're watching this video and you make cool things, work on that. Little DRAGONZORD attachments is so. We'll look at this in a little bit. It also comes with one more big accessory, the staff. The staff of judgment. I don't actually know. It's just, this is the bottom of its weapon when it's in battle mode. And this thing has an incredibly rough finish on it, guys. You can see, just look at that. It's not shiny at all. The original one was very super glossy black. This looks like it's a very just rough cast. And if you've seen any other reviews of this guy, you know it has a weird issue. And I can see it right here. So these are flat, these are not. There's a reason for that, but unfortunately, it won't stand on its own. It just is a thing. And no, this thing basically doesn't exist when it's in this mode. This just disappears and just comes from the sky or whatever, kind of like the Megazord's power sword. It just drops down whenever needed. Now let's take a better look at the DRAGONZORD itself. See if I can get up close here. Hi there. I'm a DRAGONZORD. Alright, so you get a great molded face here. I love this. Back in the day, these would have just been some really not good stickers right through here. Same thing with all of this and right here. And the great thing is, because these things are molded and decorated from the originals, from Zeo Ranger, they get away from the power bolts that we got here in America. So they are definitely more ornate and definitely better looking. And all of this is molded in and painted detail. This is just great. So these are die-cast parts. Are they? I know the feet are. No, okay. This is plastic. My bad. It just feels that solid as plastic. Feet are super die-cast. Like, that is the heaviest thing of this whole piece. These feet. And that actually comes slightly bad later when it comes to transformation mode. But everything else is essentially plastic. You get the big chest and arm shields here, which great detail. Again, like I said before, these are die cast, so that's awesome. The hips down here, these are also die cast. Look at that detail though. That's just awesome. This is plastic, but it's great. And then of course you get the big party piece on this guy, the great big articulated tail. Look at this, these ball joints. And they are semi-collapsible, because you do have to go into staff mode. But you can do all kinds of fun stuff within the level of this articulation. Look at that. You couldn't do this with the other one. The other one was maybe this long, and the drill tip was here. I only had a couple segments, and definitely didn't have this extra paint app here, or these big scratches that nobody seems to know where they came from. Even my buddy didn't know how that got scratched, so it's okay. But this is that really beautiful, like, Bandai silver that it's just really nice. Not chrome. It was never meant to be chrome, and I like that. It's a good thing this tip, though, even as cool it is not metal. It would be a little bit crazy. That is. Oh, this is another thing you do have to attach. It does not come attached to the tail. So that's what you kind of get with the original one. But this one, of course, you can pull it out and articulate it a little bit. Now these legs, these legs are semi-articulated. mostly for transformation, but otherwise you can still do things. You can come forward a little bit more like that, and with the tail in place, you can only go back this far. So this is how he kind of just stands for the most part. If you got the tail up and out of the way, you bend the knees slightly, and you can get a more vertical version. The old one could not do this. The legs were kind of stuck in the lean forward mode. So the original one was always facing down. It could never look straight ahead. So this is great. Now I was talking about the head earlier. This is a fun looking head. I almost wish they gave you a tiny little Green Ranger to stick up there. Actually, let's look at the head real quick, at least as best I can. I don't have a very tall tripod, guys. The mouth does open and close. The nose is a little bit scratched up, but that's okay. And you do see the red eyes right through there. Yeah. Insert Dragonzord noise here. If I got the sound, you'll hear it. If not, well, this is what we get. And you do get the great chest. There's a major difference between this one and the original, though. And it is the lights and sound gimmick that is no longer here. In the original one, you had a button you could push on the back. This whole thing, all of these dots would light up, and it would play roaring sounds, I think, and maybe some of the music like the Green Ranger would play on the Dragon Dagger. So this thing is great, but it does lack that, which is crazy because you think with the Legacy line, as much as these cost, they could introduce some lights and sounds gimmicks like the good old days. I mean, these things were way cheaper back in the day, and they came with more toys. No pun intended. I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the transformation gimmick. I can't do much because I don't have any other Zords here to combine him with, but we will do what we can. So, first and foremost, you yank the tail off. It is just a Zord Builder port, which is one of the best ways to use that, realistically. Which you do get a couple down here. So that means anything that's meant as a leg of any kind of Zord can actually be attached here, which in some ways I don't like. And then you do the unthinkable, and you just grab him by the crotch and rip him in half. And you just... Okay, so you pull out the chest. I'm going to go ahead and stick this back together for a second while I show you this. So this is the part I was talking about. All of this would have the lights and sound gimmicks. And look at this. I mean, it is big. You could easily fit some lights and sounds. So maybe if there's somebody out there who also wants to make this work really well with some LEDs and maybe a couple Arduino units in here for lights and sounds, do it, and you will make lots of monies. We'll go ahead and show this. This is the Dragon Staff, or whatever they call it. I think I gotta pull that back. Yep, okay. So this slides back, that plugs into there, and that makes this happen. Now this is going to be the biggest weapon you've ever seen, guys. So now you make the drill, and then you plug the Zord building port into that, and now you have the tallest weapon ever. I can't zoom out enough to show you how big this is. So when it's in battle mode, combined with the 3 other Zords, this is how big it becomes. This is an enormous weapon. The old one, like I said before, the old tail was not even this long, so it was way shorter. Part of me almost wishes you could take out like the largest segment and just use that, because this is enormous. I mean, you can see it towers over the Dragonzord by itself. So in Megazord mode, it's got to be kind of ridiculous, realistically. Now if I take it to, well, any other mode, let's see here. If I remember correctly, these hands don't tuck away at all. Nope. Okay. So I'll go ahead and show this. Those just pull off, just a soft plastic, and they go on the peg. See, this is why I wish those hands could articulate a little bit. That would actually be a very valuable thing, at least for me. Probably a lot of other collectors honestly would love this. Okay, so we're going to take it into Dragonzord battle mode for the most part. You take the hands, just like in the show, and you tuck them away. Now, if I remember correctly, these took up a lot more space, like the way they folded in here. They probably took up this much space in these holes. Because when he's in Mega Dragonzord mode, these are his little missile shooters, and they definitely look like they took up a little bit more space. But we're not talking about Mega Dragonzord, we're talking about Dragonzord battle mode. So you got a nice double hinge here, swings out of both sides, and just comes together in this great and awesome chest. Does that look familiar? It should, because it's the Green Ranger emblem. And of course, I'm gonna knock the camera around, guys, I'm sorry. You stand up the crest, which seems to have a slight curve to it, and you open up the faceplate, which was actually, in the old days, the red visor there was in fact the eyes for the Dragonzord. So they kind of took that gimmick away this time, but it's okay. Now, I'm going to go down to the legs, because this is part of the important thing that everybody should know. You straighten them out. You pop open these little flappies. You take the entire leg, and you fold it right up inside there. And if you notice, you didn't hear a click when I folded that up inside there. That is the biggest fault of this toy. There is no way at all to secure these legs when they're in there. They just literally will, they're remotely held in by the flap if you kind of tuck it down on top of it. So if you do this number here and sort of get that flap to close, you can probably hold it in place just a little bit. But yeah, that. This is actually one of the mods I wanted to talk about doing. If you watched my Ninja Zord fix video, see, if you look inside here, I can't really show you that well. There's plenty of space inside this leg. I could even get a magnet easily right up inside there. This is essentially hollow plastic. So if I put the magnet in the right spot back there and close that up, odds are I can definitely get it to lock in place, or at least stay a little bit better than that with a couple powerful magnets. And I think that's something that this needs. And I can't remember if this is a first or second release of the Dragonzord, but maybe there is a third release coming out right now. It's on pre-order for the Dragonzord. If I've got the money, I'm going to buy one, because obviously, like I said, this is going back to my friend, so I won't have this. Maybe they decided to finally fix that. Throughout the years since they've been doing the Legacy line, when they realize there is a problem, they will come in and fix it. When you go into Mega Dragonzord mode, when you have a regular Megazord, the legs become a really weak part, or the hips, and it wants to topple over a little bit from the sheer weight. Like I said, these things are die-cast. These things are heavy, and they will drag it down. I do love the Zyuranger logo there. This is also present in Mega Dragonzord mode, which I'll show that now, because that's the easiest thing to go to from this mode. So, wow, that chest is really pegged together. I have never had this problem. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and split the whole thing. There we go. Make my life easy. Okay, so for Mega Dragonzord mode, you basically flip-flop this thing, tuck that head up in there, you get that straight up, and if you have the Megazord, you just park this guy on its shoulders, and then these are actually weapon, more or less. They shoot energy at the enemies. And of course, when you go into Ultrazord mode, same difference. Park this on top of the Megazord, but you can see, like, okay, this is how wide this guy gets. And with these super heavy feet on here, it's a lot of weight to be supported in a really weird way. So you do get these attachments for the Megazord with Titanus that will fix the weak hips issue, I believe it is. But as far as I know, they have never given us a fix for these legs. Even a spring-loaded little peg would be great. Something that locks that in position would be, awesome. So if I can actually manage that with a couple of magnets, at least on mine. This is obviously not mine now. I will do that. I'm going to go ahead and pull the hands back out. Take away his surprised crest. He looks like he was really surprised there. Tilting forward. Go ahead. I'm going to try to get him back in dragon mode here. Remove. Wow, that tail is in there, guys. Oh, jeez. That is a really tough Zord port. Alright, now there's one thing I forgot to point out in this mode with the weapons. flip this out and you have the handle. Now, if you think that's really strange, it kind of is, but that's just how it works. So whenever he's got his, you can't raise the Megazord's arm to hold this. The original one back in the day had a vertical hook kind of handle, and you set it inside the hand, I think. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I do like that this is a thing. Also, you do use this as part of the Ultrazord. It parks in front of the chest of Titanus, which is actually pretty cool. Now I'll go ahead and put that back in here since we're putting him back in Dragon mode. This is another thing that really could use a magnet to hold itself in place, because you kind of tuck it up in here. If I can get it to go. Get in there, guy. And then you just close the Dragonzord around it, but you can see that wiggles a lot. I mean, the old one would clip in place like really well. So I think maybe right inside here or inside this, maybe put a piece of metal and a couple magnets, and it would just, you know, it'd keep it just a little more light and tight and bright, guys. That's just all I'm asking for, Bandai. Come on. Just make improvements on the most ultimate machine you've ever made. You know, make it the Dragonzord we deserve. This is already so close to perfect, and the fact that there's just so dumb little things that just make it less perfect. But that's it for this review and this look at the amazing Legacy Dragonzord. I love this guy. If you can find it, like I said, there is a pre-order out for them right now. It's $90 thereabouts, depending on where you're getting it from. I don't think it's going to be exclusively Toys R Us this go around, but if you find it and you love your old Dragonzords, get it. If you're one of those people who like to buy them in scalp, we don't like you. I'm sorry. If you buy it, sell it at the price you bought it for, and to a person who can't get a hold of it. That's only fair, guys. Come on, let's all be fair. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. And yeah, check out all the other Legacy Power Rangers reviews. I got a nice little playlist going down there now. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day. And remember to keep on nerding.